Everybody, it's Old School Nerd. Welcome in. Today is Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. I'm live on Twitch, and as we do on Sundays, it's time to explore another culture and some young people and how they achieve greatness. As you guys know, we started a series where I did reactions to the Swedish army and the way they trained their Jägers or their hunter squads and their hunter platoons. That whole program they have there, I found it very interesting. I myself am a U.S. Army veteran, pre 9/11, and then did some logistical private work in defense contracting during the Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom and the Global War on Terror. In that time, I learned a lot of training techniques, technology, and operational sense. That has nothing to do with this. This is me as a U.S. Army veteran from the 1990s reacting to modern day training of other countries' units. We did the Swedish Jaeger training, and there's a lot more from Sweden and Finland and Norway coming. But right now we have shifted over to His Majesty's military, yes, King Charles, the UK, the United Kingdom, Great Britain, their Army's Parachute Regiment, or the Reg, as it's called. I have met some of these specialized paratroopers in my adventures throughout the world over the last 30 years. However, I've never really noticed how they train them. Now, this series is not me casting judgment on how someone trains, how a country trains their personnel. This has nothing to do with that. This is just noticing how unique it is, the philosophies, the training doctrine, how they convert a civilian into a military personnel. Do they keep that person within the civilian lifestyle? Whereas in Sweden, it's very balanced. They continue to have their normal civilian life, and their military service is treated like a job. Whereas in the United States military, indoctrination into military service is a complete separation from civilian life. How do they do it in the UK? We're about to find out. We're at episode 3. In the first episode, it was an evaluation, greetings and evaluations, where they even figured out if they were even qualified to join the Reg training program. Then on the following episode, they got their equipment and their indoctrination into the fact that how they live their life is now going to be different. And the impact, will they be able to do this or will they not? Episode 3, I have no idea what's going to happen on this one. I'm assuming the training is going to get more intense. We're going to see more about how Britain trains their parachute regiment. I'm very interested to see this. Episode 3, are you ready? I'm going to press play right now. 24 minutes, 51 seconds.
Been to view like no other, and it's earned the reputation as one of the toughest courses in the British
P-platoon, yes.
It pushes recruits to the very limits of their physical and mental endurance.
Hey, Joe, get up! Stop showing up!
And beyond.
Get up!
And any young man hoping to join the Parachute Regiment must first demonstrate they have the determination and robustness to pass this grueling 28-week course, including its legendary test week, P Company.
Well done, 12! Come on!
During this series, Forces TV has been given unique access as we follow a group of young men taking on the biggest challenge of their lives. Up to now, they've only dreamed of joining the Paras. Now, they must prove they have what it takes to be a paratrooper. Not all will make it to the end. Who will achieve their ultimate ambition and join the Parachute Regiment?
Here we go, episode 3.
The first week of Parachute Regiment training in Catterick was taken up with admin and kit issue. Now the recruits of Athens platoon will see their training rapidly intensify as they develop the fundamental skills to be an infantry soldier. This morning, the recruits known in training or depot as Joes begin their first fieldcraft exercise.
Some bivouacking, baby.
During 2 days out in the open, they'll learn the essential skills for surviving and fighting on the ground. The recruit's first task is to construct a shelter, known as a basher.
Build 2 rows, yeah, and then they build up like a pyramid.
It's just a portable roof, I think of it anyway. So that, for me, that is pretty much your own little house that you can take anywhere you go.
It's a funny thing, you know, but a lot of people, and I could even have been one of them, don't realise what soldiers actually do. They'll watch the TV and they'll see Camp Bastion out in Afghanistan and, you know, that kind of thing, and people going out on patrol, but you don't think about where these people sleep, how they administrate themselves when they're not out on the ground.
I think in modern warfare, having proper facilities and forward operating centers or fire bases or forward operating centers where there's shelter and hot food and supplies and medical facilities in a forward operational base is so normal in the modern battlefield that we forget that no matter which group or country we've seen so far, whether it be Sweden, here in Great Britain, or in the United States, in basic infantry training, basic soldier training, they train you to live literally in two-man shelters, two-person shelters, like shelter halves, bivouac camping, basic, literally what's on the screen right now. America does it their way. We call it bivouac. Of course, I think Sweden is something very, very similar. This is different. You know, these little shelter tops, these covers would not protect soldiers from any sort of inclement weather, whether it be cold weather or torrential rains or winds. This is just the basic, keep the dew, keep the simple rain off of you. It's rugged, it's bare bones, but at the end of the day, you train a soldier to operate with the bare minimums, because in the real world, if things don't go right, the bare minimum may be all you have. It's all countries do that. The basics of living off and just working through simple existence in the field is required. If you can't do this, I don't know what's going to happen after that. So it's very interesting. Let's keep going.
Don't have nice barracks to go back to, or even a tent. This is sort of a wake-up call for a lot of them. You know, this is how you're going to live, and it's not just for one night.
Bacon and beans and tomato sauce, how's that sound? Alright.
On intense operations and exercises, soldiers are issued with a 24-hour ration pack containing boil-in-the-bag meals, snacks and energy drinks totaling 4,000 calories.
Yep.
Have we all got the scoff cooking now, yes?
Never had to like cook your own food, because usually if you stay at like a campsite, it's like got a calf or something nearby, so you just go there. What I did was I tried to boil in the bag muesli, and you can't do that with them. You meant to boil the water, then pour the water in, and Corporal Granville come and told me off.
Applying camouflage or cam cream effectively is not as straightforward as it seems.
No.
Got a laugh and go.
Corporal Granville used this as a demonstration with cam cream, and unfortunately I was a demonstration of putting too much cam cream on, and you just used black cam cream.
I love cam cream.
Okay, the cam cream, you have to be aware of that. Cam cream, there are different shades, there's different palettes. Some are gloss, some are matte. You have greens, browns, blacks. You don't black out your face for daytime operations. It's actually counterintuitive. The idea is you use greens and tans and browns, not so much in a way to make yourself, to get rid of the skin color, but actually just to cause a blending of your environment. So if I'm in a evergreen forest, I may use some green, some brown, but I want it to match the trees. But more importantly, I want it to match my uniform. So if I'm wearing a diffused camouflage, like what this gentleman on the camera is wearing, I'm not putting black. I would stick out like a sore thumb. You would use browns and a little bit of white here. The idea is to make one silhouette, one pattern. So when you blend that pattern, it plus in a modern battlefield, you're not necessarily trying to hide yourself to the most part. A lot of thermal imaging happens, so you're not going to hide your heat signature. But some of this actually has to, when you're laying on the ground, if you are all one pattern, the person firing at you has no idea if they're firing at your head or your feet. And that could be the difference between life and death. It's something as simple as that. There's an entire course in the U.S. military and different branches on how to conceal and evade. It's very interesting. It's a science, really. But it's as art as much as science, but there is a science to it. Refracting light and stuff. It's very interesting. But they're just telling them the basics, and it is fun to fuck around with them a little bit.
I mean, it's amazing. I'd cam up every day if I could. And people get lazy with it. I'm not sure why. You got to cam up. You go in the field, you got to put cam cream on. So you might as well get it on and cover everybody your face. There's no point in doing a half-assed job.
Any items that you see, write them down. If you can't positively identify them, put a description of the item, and then I want the principle of why you saw that item, be it shine, be it texture, be it shape, whatever it might be.
Ambushes and improvised explosive devices, or IEDs, were a constant danger for soldiers in Afghanistan.
What is a joke?
Knowing how to spot something out of the ordinary in their surroundings, batteries, wires, discarded items could one day save their lives.
It's very always.
One of the things that was one of my training responsibilities was I was training, my military training scope was to actually train a couple of different things, different vehicle identification, and terrain anomalies. Because we did, even though the whole how to spot an IED in Afghanistan and Iraq became a very large focus post 9/11, in our times it was literally spotting anything that looked out of the ordinary, and to identify if it was a form of military hardware or just something innocuous. But it is breaks of terrain, colors. Oh, not only did I have to train that, but also train the camo is one thing, and personal camouflage, but gear camouflage. A lot of the gear you wear, a lot of the stuff in it is metal. If you scuff it, you can scuff that matte black, matte green, matte brown paint off, and you're exposing bare metal. Now, for some, it may not seem innocuous, but if you have a metal buckle and the matte black fade camouflage on it has been scuffed, you're showing bare metal, which reflects in the sun. So we had kits of flat black, flat green, and flat gray paint that we would sit there and we would black out, or what we would call degloss. Boot lace, the brass boot lace rings, you would paint those with a flat colored paint to get rid of the reflective material, because literally something as simple as a buckle or a snap or a zip tie, anything that would reflect a light source could be highly dangerous. So it's really things that you just never know. It seems really weird, and for most civilians, they don't understand why it's important. If you've taken the class and seen how many we actually had a sniper come in, a sniper team, 4 or 5 guys who were trained snipers who would come in and show us how to deglare, how to fade in different aspects of our equipment that they would look for. They would tell us what they would look for that would expose someone, so we would learn how to disguise that. It's crazy. Sometimes it's all about, it really is, it's funny. We talk about, everyone talks about stealth bombers and stealth fighters. That's Air Force equipment. In the end of the day, I've actually went to a training complex in Fort Benning We did medical support there, and I was doing some, we were training on a piece of equipment and testing it in the field, and we happened to see a stalking class. And we saw guys literally miss instructors by inches, literally step on an instructor, and they didn't even see the instructor there. I mean, that's how good these guys can hide and camouflage themselves. It's crazy.
Interesting. No one saw the raisins on the floor, which were literally right in front of us. So you'd expect someone to see it, but no one did.
It's early evening, and with a cold, wet night ahead, some recruits are already forgetting what they've been taught.
What are you supposed to be wearing on your back? Daysack, aren't you? Right, go fucking get it now.
You know, you've got to live, you've got to administrate yourself, you've got to be able to fight from that position. You know, they've got to switch on, because that will never be taught again. You know, we teach them that, and it's up to them to keep them skills on the belt.
It's 7 a.m, and after a freezing, soggy night out in the field, the exercise is still not over. Each part of their kit and every item of clothing must be cleaned before they can even think about taking a hot shower.
The amount of iron we've got to do.
Right, Joe, today obviously we'll do the Trinasium. Obviously there are two parts to the Trinasium, Joe. We'll do the small one first of all. We'll do a walkthrough, talk through, and afterwards we'll do a walkthrough, talk through of the big Trinasium. Are there any questions?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Number one, start. Go!
Next one, climb! Stand by! Go! Go!
The Trainasium is unique to Parachute Regiment training. It's an aerial assault course designed to test their reaction to a word of command, only 60 feet up in the air. They tackle part of it before during...
Only 60 feet. What is the minimum falling distance where if you land, it can be a fatal injury? 10. You could fall from 10 feet. If you land on your head and land on your neck, it could kill you. It's just 60 feet. Of course, 60 feet, if you land and do a 4-point roll, you'll probably break your legs and probably break your back, but you may not die. It's only 60 feet.
Their initial assessment. Now, with the weather conditions making it trickier, they must take on the entire circuit, including, for the first time, the high shuffle bars.
Touch your toes! Up! And carry on. Go!
And Superman jump.
Better! Good! Run!
Hey Joe, get up! Stop showing off! Get back up there and go again! Go, get up there, go! Oh yeah!
During the 7 months of their training, the recruits will spend most of their time away from their loved ones. Families Day gives mums, dads, nans, siblings and girlfriends their first chance to see how their boys are getting on.
Probably a lot of people's minds, we're probably quite a thuggish organisation if you look at us from the outside. But actually, parents come down, it gives them a chance to see that their children are in good hands.
The young men that I've got here to look after for 6.
Again, very interesting. We in the United States Army, I believe that this is still the case. I don't think it's changed. In the United States Army, after basic training, which is your 8-week standard soldiering course, you get to graduate, meet your family, have a break in some cases, and reconnect with your family. But for the first 8 weeks of your training, you can send letters home. I think you get to call home to let them know you're there safe. But you're separated. There's no family greet day, really, until you graduate. And then after that, you see family, because usually in the United States, after you're done with your basic infantry soldier training, in the Army at least, afterwards there may be a greeting of graduation for parents and family to see you. But then after that, you go to your AIT or your your MOS training, which could be, depending upon what your job is, could be, I mean, mine was another 11 weeks, another 12 weeks. And then after that, then I went to air assault school. Then I went to combat school. So for the first year, I really didn't see my family that often, hardly at all. Once I was done with that, then I went home on leave and I was at home for 3 weeks. But to have a day to see them this soon, that is something that is usually not something you see in the United States. The United States, their philosophy is to remove the soldier, remove you from civilian life to get you into a military bearing, completely immersed. I mean, you can send emails, letters home, but that's about it. There's not a lot of contact with home, like face to face. So this is something that, and of course, as we saw for the Swedish series for the Jägers, after the first 10 days, they went home for a weekend. I was like, what? Or they had their phones. They were on social media and talking to people back home at night. I was like, that's a very different philosophy. Again, nothing wrong here. It's a different philosophy. It's a different scope, a different priority. No country's doing it right or wrong. It's just a different way of doing it.
Are going to do extraordinary things because they're extraordinary people.
Captain Scott Ratcliffe has just taken command of Athens platoon. He knows that a reassuring relationship between the families and training team is vital if their sons are going to successfully pass out.
For most of them, they don't come from a regimental background. They don't necessarily have parents that were in the army before them. So their understanding is exactly that of their parents. What's happening in that centre? What is my son being made to do?
It's not like at home.
By winning over the parents at the earliest stage, it can have a really good effect on the recruit through the rest of his training.
That's really heavy, isn't it?
You get to know a bit of what
That's heavy metal.
Corporal Granville took the weapon. He had the weapons laid out and that. And even my dad enjoyed holding the weapons.
Squad automatic weapon. It's like the US SAW, but it's not. That's a different weapon, but it's a squad level automatic weapon. In Vietnam, it was the M60. Then it went to the 234, the SAW in the modern United States. The M60 fired a 7.62 heavier round. SAWs and squad automatic weapons can range from a 30-06, a 7.62, and some even fire the 5.56 standard, the standard M16 M4 round. So the standard NATO 5.56. There are multiple different squad level automatic weapons. This is just one from the British Army. It is automatic weapon. I don't know what the cyclic rate on that is. I think they range from 400 to 600 rounds a minute, which is a lot. It's a lot. So it's pretty cool though. And see, that was the thing that in the United States, that's something that never happens. During family field days, we're not showing our family weapons. That does not happen. The visiting family doesn't get to hold the M4, doesn't get to hold an M16A2. We're certainly not letting them hold a SAW. Here, hold this javelin missile. No, it doesn't happen. That is definitely something that we don't do in the United States. So,
when we marched up, my grandma said it brought a tear to her eye. It's because she was like, "Oh, they've changed you within 3 weeks." It's like it's amazing what they can do.
You know, like the normal safety procedure as well.
Nicholson's father, Gavin, spent 30 years with the RAF, becoming a squadron leader. With his wife Linda, they were surprised by their son's choice.
It was a bit of a shocker, really. It was, no, I thought he would have joined the RAF, it would have been anything, but he was absolutely adamant. It was the Parachute Regiment. He found out about it, he researched it, it's what he wanted to do, and he wasn't considering any other service.
He's made his mind up. He gave a fairly lucid argument as to why he wanted to do it. So, okay, you've thought about it, and we'll sort of roll with it and see what happens.
He liked professionalism. We didn't expect him to stand up straight, look him in the eye, and say, "Yeah, this is what we do, and we're proud of it." And when he saw me running about the Trinasium, being confident, doing all this and that and being happy here. You know, I think that's when he started to change his mind about it.
Okay, from this position, from the ready then, you'll be given a word of command. All it'll be is throw.
During the first 6 weeks of the course, the men of Athens platoon will rapidly develop the skills they'll need to be frontline soldiers in the Parachute Regiment.
It's the first thing we do.
This morning, they'll learn how to handle and throw a grenade for the first time. For now, it's only a dummy, but they must treat it as if it's a real high-explosive device.
When we teach them a grenade from day one of the first grenade lesson 1, they need to know exactly how they're doing it. Because, you know, these things, you know, it's high explosive. It does cause a massive crater in the ground if you wanted it to.
This twat that's been in this fucking bunker has been firing at you and your muckers, hasn't it? All right? You've got the pleasure of going with your section commander up close and personal with the enemy and fucking throwing a grenade in there, okay? That sort of shit gives me a hard on, all right? So make sure you throw these grenades like you mean it.
This twat here.
Lang, that was fucking pathetic. Identify your target. Throw. What have I just fucking told you about these weapons, Joe?
Jesus Christ. They're throwing training ones, by the way. They're blue. They're training dummy grenades. But okay, here's the thing. When you pull the pin, you reach back. Your arm goes out. So when you pull the pin, it's one motion. You pull the pin, you've got the flap, the triggering flap is in the crook of your hand to where even if your fingers relax, that flap doesn't come open. So you have that in your hand, it's tight. You pull, this goes behind you direct. Your arm, the leading edge where the ring was is in the other hand, fist out. You point, and in one motion, you throw, and you're down in one motion. He's doing this. He's looking at it like, oh, look, here's the ring pin. Here's the grenade. What should I do? Oh, no, it is one motion. And then as you extend, the extension is as you're falling flat. It has to be in one motion. There can be no hesitation. You don't throw and look. You don't know. We put 2 big eyeballs on your helmet. It's so dumb. And it's ridiculous. God, they're horrible.
I've just had a bastard discussion with you, and yours has just gone in the mud. Look at the end of your muzzle now, full of shit. Go get your fucking grenade.
They've got to learn how to do it. And if they're not doing it correctly, then yeah, we're on top of them. Because it's a sharp blow to their mind. Whoa, what have I done wrong? Okay, I'm not, and hopefully they're not going to make that same mistake again.
If they're going to pull a grenade pin at the wrong moment, it's best they do it now.
Oh, wrong.
Dumbass. Alright, put it back. Crawl the way over that fucking ISO container and stay there. Go. Crawl. Leave it here. Crawl. Hurry up. Go. Get fucking
Congratulations, you're dead, you
the
twat.
Recruits must master grenade handling. In the final introductory exercise at the end of week 6, they'll be expected to dispatch a grenade during the chaos of an assault.
The fact that they look blows my mind. When you pull a pin on a grenade,
if these men hope to
when
join
you
the
look
ranks of
out,
the Parachute
you're
Regiment,
looking at
they
that
must
pin
be
in
able
your
to cope
hand.
with the
You can
intense
see the
physical
ring
and
and the
mental
pull.
demands of war.
So you know it's not
So
in that
what happens
grenade. You're
now
throwing.
is no ordinary physical training exercise.
I don't agree with that at all.
It's battle PT.
Did I pull it? Did I pull? Did I pull? You're an
and the
idiot.
instructors will deliberately push the recruits far beyond what they've been used to
Oh,
so
God.
far.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Oh, God. Keep moving.
Oh, I've done that.
Stay low. Stay low. Use them feet. Use your legs as well. Use your legs. Keep moving. Keep your head down. Keep your head down. Look forward. You! Stay down! You're slowing you down!
Battle PT was hideous. It's the worst thing ever.
Got it.
Obviously you get a little bit cold, you get a little bit wet, you start switching off. Okay, that's why I'm having to tell you again.
Okay, if I didn't have to tell you again, we wouldn't be in this situation. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Stand. Kneel.
Yes.
Yes. Stand.
The water is the only thing that's sticking out of the water is your head, literally.
Yep.
And your body is just getting cloaked by cold water.
It's to change your perception from being comfortable to being alive. Okay? The only thing that needs to be out of that water is your mouth and nose to breathe and your eyes to see where you're going, and that's it. Everything else should be down as low as possible. It's very uncomfortable because you just want to be up and you want to have your chest and your shoulders and stuff out of the water. It's easier to move. No, because the more you're exposed, the more you're going to die. It's a perception of change. Like I said, it's changing from doing what makes you feel comfortable to doing what makes sure keeps you alive. That's the only difference, but it is fun to see.
I think if you were to describe death taking over your body, that water is death giving you a cuddle. Definitely, it is horrible.
I think it was sort of time for them to realise the serious business of being a paratrooper and what it comes down to, and sort of saying to them, you're going to need to dig deep to come out the other end.
Get past that man in front!
This isn't an attendance course. This isn't a course that you could just sort of pick the days where you want to work and pick the days where you don't really feel like it.
You've made 5 meters on him and keep driving. Come on then.
Wow. You've been told to do tasks. You've been told to get that ammunition box over there, 100 meters, crawl with it. But you need to do that because the guys at the front have got no ammunition. And if you don't get there, then they're going to die. If you can't do it in depot, then you don't deserve a place amongst those men that are going to fight to that standard that can do that.
Get this ammunition up there now.
Our eyes are burning. You know, we are constantly on them. We're checking, have they got the aggression?
It's a big old weight bag, baby.
Have they got that commitment and that drive to get through to the end? You know you're going up to a position that's potentially or wanting to
10
do it.
kilograms.
So they've got
wow.
that determination that when I look back as a section commander, he's still on my tail, and we're going all the way up that gully.
This is how fucking ludicrous ammunition.
They need to sort of realise that they need to have the determination and the aggression.
That's awesome.
To barge through and beyond anything that stands in their way to get that job done to the best of their ability.
You better get that ammunition up your second commander, or everyone's going good. Fucking get in there and get that ammo forward!
And that was just a small demonstration of that, I think.
Get up!
We're putting that recruit up to a position of physical training where he is exhausted and he needs to carry on just as it would be in battle.
Stand! Kneel! Bow and arrow. Stand! Kneel!
It's not until you've actually done it for real you can actually put it in a different way, and we've all experienced that as a training team, and that's why we get very passionate about Battle PT, because we've all been there and we all know the consequences of you failing to carry out that task.
Have you ever seen someone who physically pushes themselves to the point where they vomit? That's pretty normal in combat. Like the intensity, the adrenaline, the panic, the paranoia, the senses being heightened, your body just going into life or death, fight or flight mentality to a base level for the entire time. It is commonplace to vomit just from the sheer physical activity, emotional stress. When you see an athlete who pushes themselves to the limit and they puke, and you're like, wow, they push so hard, that's the level on an emotional, physical, emotional level. It's got to be all those. Yeah, combat is just a completely different existence. It's, yeah. If you don't train it like that, they don't learn.
You can see the people that are going to give in when it really matters, and we can see the people that won't. Who are you? Let's go.
I think no matter how fit you are, you would struggle on that. But it also gives us adjusters, like, could I be doing this all day whilst under fire, whilst returning fire in a battle? Keep getting to question that, but You just got to do it. You just got to crack on.
Wow.
Keep moving. Get right on, man. Come on, Johnson. Fucking hard in the back. Up in the legs, down the hill. Up in the legs.
Now, as you could see, there are some similarities to the Swedish series that we watched, but what they just did there, that intensity, the yelling, the aggressive nature of the cadre, the training cadre, to push them beyond, and they didn't ask. It was in their face, just over the top. That is where the similarities of the British training are very similar to the American training. It's in Sweden, they handled it a little bit differently, where it was more of the most they did was a very stern talking to. There was the communication was a different style, very effective for them, but it's a different philosophy here.
It's early morning during the final exercise of this 6-week phase of training. The platoon are emerging from an overnight patrol position or harbour area. Loaded with up to 35 pounds of kit, the recruits are now expected to put into action everything they've learned so far. One of the first lessons they were taught was how to administer their kit and personal hygiene.
Further on in their training, before final exercise, they get given the summative testing, and one of those testing is administration in the field. Can this person administrate in the field, whether it be raining, sunshine, snow, wherever it may be? We've simply got to check that.
I've been that guy looking at people's feet in the field. I've been that guy. I don't want to... yeah, change your socks. You need to dry those out. You're going to need to get some moleskin. You're going to need to get some antifungal. You're going to... Yeah, I've looked at people's feet a lot in the field. Job sucked.
You taking a piss?
No coffee.
You're going to tell me it was dark when you were cleaning your weapon, aren't you?
No coffee.
During an inspection, the training team can spot the smallest oversight.
Why is it dirty? Because you ain't got a fucking bag around it, have you? That's why it's fucking dirty.
For me as a section commander, you are looking at your section, and you are kind of like filtering out those people that are actually do need a bit more coaching and do need a bit more effort in the areas. For example, talk on the feet. Why do we talk as feet? And you need to explain to that recruit the reasons behind it, the reasons why we do clean our mess tins to an immaculate standard.
What's that? You're gonna eat that, yeah? It's part of your fucking rations.
48 hours, Joe, in the field. And your feet are starting to deteriorate.
Clean between your toes before you fucking talc your feet, okay? Otherwise you'll have fucking dramas.
They have to realise that if they don't keep on top of their own personal admin, their self, their weapon systems, then that person can go down. And losing one person in a section or a platoon that's a lot of ammunition gone, a lot of firepower.
Joe, listen in. Team commander has tasked one section, okay, to clear out 500 metres to our front, okay? Clear the area to our front of any pockets of enemy resistance. You understand? Yes, go, bro! Okay.
The platoon consists of 3 sections, and each one is expected to carry out their first assault.
Move.
The section attack itself is the most important thing that the recruit learns in here when you're talking about offensive actions.
The section attack is used by the British Army because of its proven effectiveness.
Spaces, Joe!
A section is exactly what they go into when they arrive at battalion. They go into a rifle company and they're in an 8-man section led by a corporal. When the platoon goes into an attack,
100 meters on access!
it will deploy one of the 3 sections forwards in order to close with the enemy and destroy that enemy. So knowing how to conduct the attack, knowing the roles of each individual within the section during the attack is hugely important, and it's going to be their bread and butter in the future.
Rapid fire!
They're directed from behind by the section corporal and his second in command, or 2IC.
Deliberate rates! Deliberate rates! Right to I see! Pull yourself back!
Their aim is simple: to bring down as much firepower as possible and overwhelm the enemy.
I'm looking to see that they're applying what I've been teaching them. You are looking for not straight away all singing or dancing section attack, but if they're doing the basics well, you know, as they've been taught, then that's what we're looking for.
Once that grenade goes over Bailey, back safety clip. You and me, over the top, fire manoeuvre, hold that position.
Communication is highly important when you talk about section attacks. It's a particularly noisy environment during an attack. Rounds are coming towards you as well as the rounds you're firing at the enemy.
Rapid fire! Grenade!
It is quite confusing, like obviously you're trying to listen to the corporal, different messages are getting shouted along, like you're in like a bit of a baseline sort of thing, and everyone needs to make sure the message is getting shouted, and you're trying to listen, you're trying to look where the enemy is and fire off your rounds and stuff and get into cover, like do everything you've been taught, and it can get confusing. You get knackered, and when you're breathing heavy you can't hear as much, and you're like, fuck's sake, can't hear what he just said, and then you're looking left and right, like are we moving forward, what are we doing sort of thing. But yeah, like you just crack on and just try and follow the lead, like the section commander, I was with Corporal Granville that time, and I was 2IC, so I would really have to listen and like take everything in that he was saying and stay switched on.
Not bad for the first step of the job, I think.
The section attacks have gone well for Athens. But if they think they'll sleep easy tonight, they're in for a surprise.
We're going to go in now. We're going to have a simulated enemy firing shots into the harbour. It tests their reaction, and it tests them at a vulnerable time, because you are weakest when you're conducting administration, because you've got the least guns on the positions, and you're going to have people caught short. We are hoping that the recruits are going to be fast and furious and fire shots back. However, with it being an introductory exercise, we're anticipating that it's going to be a bit of a bugger's muggle in there.
Contact! Fire! 15
A bugger smuggle.
meters! Fire! Fire!
In complete darkness, Athens patrol have to defend their position.
Wow.
Although they have a long...
Do you remember in the Swedish training when they were all in that little shelter area and all of a sudden they did an NBC gas attack on them? Ah, that was so good. See, the whole idea is if an enemy is smart, an enemy's intelligence apparatus, their ELINT and their HULINT will, if you don't know what those terms mean, it's okay. Human and electronic intelligence. If the enemy finds out what your patterns are, they will determine when the best time to attack is. And it's normally when you're doing administrative or care or you're standing down. That's the whole point. So if you train your units to always be prepared for that, it's smart. So we saw it in the Swedish series. We're obviously seeing it here. We're going to get them when they least expect it. That's classic. It's classic training apparatus.
Relentless nights ahead.
It's funny
Athens
though.
platoon have successfully completed the first phase of their training.
Good deal.
Next time,
Let's go, lads, let's go!
the recruits help each other get to grips with the obstacle course.
Yep. No.
Hope there's not a hair out of place during locker inspection.
Left, right, left!
And will they pass their drill test and pass off the square?
I've been there too. That's all right. So yeah, there you go. Episode 3. Basic bivouac, basic combat training. We don't know how to throw freaking grenades. Let the family hold the weapons, and yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. And episode 3 here. Come back every Sunday during my live Twitch stream. We're recording these episodes. If you're from some of these areas, right now I'm doing some stuff from Great Britain. I don't know which country we're going to next. If you're from one of these places, let me know where I should go next. And also, if you have something to contribute, something that I don't see, something that I don't notice, and most importantly, if I'm getting something wrong, please let me know where I'm at, because I've never been a Great British Parachute Reg. I've never, U.S. Army Combat Medic dust off. That was me. So anyway, looking forward to seeing you guys next week on this. Everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a like. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to subscribe, right over there. A big thank you to all my Patreons out there for everything you do. And if you want more content like this, check them out above. Remember, love one another, take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. We'll see you later.